I'm Jake, and this is the Benelli 828U, a capable over-under shotgun that will endure the test of time. Today, we are going in depth with everything that this beautiful shotgun has to offer. Benelli has reinvented the traditional over-under by utilizing a patented steel locking system. This system engages a steel plate directly into the monoblock when the action is closed. During high-volume shooting, the pressure is contained in the barrel, taking it off the receiver and hinges, preserving the longevity of the shotgun. This over-under also features opening lever auto-recocking. That means the triggers reset when the top lever is unlocked, instead of when the firearm is opened. This results in a smoother, more consistent opening action. The ejector system in the 828U is all contained in the barrel, allowing for a stronger, more streamlined system and eliminates the need for fragile linkages. The stock contains Benelli's patented Progressive Comfort System. This system tames recoil, allowing for faster follow-up shots and less fatigue. The stock can easily be adjusted for drop and cast to tailor the point of impact to the designed 60-40 pattern. And the 828 is lightweight, weighing between 5.9 and 7.8 pounds, making it easy to carry in the field. The 828U offers modern style and unmatched performance in an over-under shotgun. Offered in 12 and 20 gauge, the 828U will last a lifetime and always performs when called upon. Ethan, the 828U is one of my favorite upland shotguns. I'm excited about this. Let's open it up.
Yeah, when we first opened the lid,
beautiful.
It is a beautiful gun, very eye-catching. Up top, we have the barrel set along with the Forend. Right here, we have the main receiver.
Look at that wood.
Here is a accessory case, and there are 5 choke tubes that come along with the 828, and the improved cylinder and the modified are already in the barrels.
Okay.
Right here we have a full improved modified and cylinder, and also a bottle of oil for lubrication.
Okay.
Over here we have the owner's manual. There's information in that on how to adjust the Forend, how to adjust the stock, disassembly, cleaning, a lot of good stuff in there. So definitely check out the owner's manual. Here we have drop and cast shims along with locking plates for adjustment. There is a tool to remove the trigger assembly as well as a choke wrench.
So there's where all your customization is going to be for the gun.
It's all right there, and we'll get into it.
So Ethan, we've just taken this 828U out of the box. Show us how to put this together.
Sure, to get started, we'll take the barrel set, and we need to remove the Forend.
Okay.
So to do that, you'll push this button right at the top of the Forend. To make it a little easier, if you grab the Forend and the barrels and squeeze them together, it'll take some of that tension off.
Okay.
And you can push it easily. And then the Forend will come off.
Okay.
Then we'll take our receiver, push the top lever to the open position. To install the barrels, you need to align this area of the monoblock into the hinge pins in the receiver.
Okay.
Then the action will close.
Perfect.
Then we can take our Forend, install it onto the barrels, and that will lock in.
So pretty simple process once you get familiar with it.
It is.
Great.
It's ready. It's ready to go.
Ready to go to the field. All right, Ethan, so we've just had a day in the field with our 828U. Show us how to properly break this thing down and what maintenance we may need to do.
Sure. First step before we do that, we'll open the action. Make sure it's not loaded. Visually inspect both chambers. This is a good time to look all the way through the bore as well. Make sure there's no bore obstructions, and then we know it's safe to work on.
Okay.
The first thing we'll do is remove the Forend. And you push this button here to remove the Forend. It always helps if you grab the Forend and the barrels and squeeze them together slightly to take some of that tension off.
Okay. Yeah, great little tip there.
And then the Forend comes off. To remove the barrels, push the top lever to the open position. The action will open, and then the monoblock will slide out of the receiver away from the hinge pins.
Okay.
From there, it's a good idea. Take the chokes out.
Okay.
moisture can get in here. It's always important to take care of your choke tubes and take care of the threads in the barrel. So there's both choke tubes, and once these are clean, wipe away any kind of fouling, debris, clean out these threads. I like to use either a nylon, or a wire brush, clean these off. And take a little bit of choke tube lube and apply to the threads.
Okay.
For the receiver, the main thing is make sure there's no debris that has settled down in here.
Okay.
Any kind of, I've seen feathers, plant matter, seeds, that kind of thing.
Yeah, things like that.
Make sure that, so you can blow it out with compressed air. Use a small brush and brush it out. Make sure these hinge plates are clear. And then this is an area we can oil as well. The hinge pins, also on the, where they made up with the monoblock. You can add a little bit of lubrication. From the factory, there may be a little bit of grease in here.
Just right on those points.
Just a little bit there, where we have the steel to steel lockup. And then it can be reassembled and we're ready for another day in the field.
Okay. So that was simple enough. Pretty easy general maintenance on these.
Pretty straightforward.
Okay. All right, Ethan, so you've walked us through the basic disassembly and general maintenance on this shotgun. But what about for the guys who may want to take it a step further?
Yeah, if you look in the receiver and you notice it's getting kind of dirty and you want to break it down a little further, we can do that. And to start, we'll remove the trigger assembly. The trigger guard is removable on this over-under, which is new for this style of gun.
Okay.
If you're going to do that, always make sure that the top lever is in the closed position.
Okay.
If you lock it over to the open position, the trigger guard's going to get stuck if you try to remove it.
Okay.
So always have this in the left or the closed position. This is a right-handed gun, so this is going to be to the left. We'll take this tool that's provided in the accessory box and push it right into this hole at the rear of the trigger guard.
Okay.
And that pushes on a spring-loaded detent. And we'll release the trigger guard from the receiver.
Okay.
We can also remove the breech block. I use a 90-degree pick for this, and there's a plastic spacer in the bottom in front of the breech block that I'll hook with this pick and simply pop it out of place.
Okay. Then that allows that block to come right out.
And the breech block then will drop out of the receiver.
Okay.
And that's really as far as you'll want to take it down.
Okay.
And from there, we can use solvent, use compressed air. I've got this air tool here just to show as an example. Blow out the inside of the receiver as well as the front of the receiver.
Easy enough.
And that's all there is to it. On the back of the breech block, there are two little springs. So just be sure not to lose those.
Okay. And what about for the trigger assembly? Is there anything we need to do with that?
You won't need to take this apart any further.
Okay.
From here, you can see your equalizer and sear engagements. So if there's any kind of debris that's settled underneath of the trigger, that's where really what I would do is maybe pull back on the trigger, use your compressed air again, just go into the back of it.
Okay. But other than that, no further disassembly.
Yeah, don't take this apart any further.
Okay.
To put the trigger assembly back in, simply slide it up into the receiver, lock the front edge in first, come to the back, and it snaps in place.
Huh. Snaps right in.
We can then take our breech block, drop that back in its channel, Take the plastic spacer and push it back in. No tools required to put that back in place.
Great. All right, that's simple enough. Thanks for showing us that, Ethan.
Sure.
So Ethan, beyond the basics, what else might a consumer need to know about their 828U?
There is some cool features with the 828, and we can check them out now. Before we do that, we'll go ahead, open the action, inspect the chambers, make sure it's unloaded,
Yep.
and then it's safe to work on. One of the features is the adjustable forend tension. And basically what that means is if the gun is a little bit hard, or maybe it opens a little bit easy, right there, opening the action, that is adjustable. So for example, this one is a little bit tight, a little hard to push the barrels down. So we'll remove the forend.
So most people probably don't know that you can adjust that.
They probably don't. And if they don't know, they probably will end up putting a lot of grease in the monoblock, in the receiver. They think it's all in here.
Right.
And it's really not. It ends up being this lug here, which on the 828 is adjustable. On a lot of over-unders, it's not. And if your forend ends up out of adjustment, there really isn't any repair for it. It may be loose forever, unless you displace metal and things like that, where with the 828 we don't have to.
Okay, great.
So to adjust that tension, we'll first loosen the set screw on the bottom of the lug.
So you're not adjusting tension here, that's just a set screw.
Right, that's
Okay.
right. And these are metric Allen head.
Okay.
This screw here is the one that sets the tension. And that basically is how hard it pushes the forend against the front of the receiver.
Okay.
So if we loosen that screw, and I'm going to start with about a quarter turn.
Okay.
Tighten our set screw. And then reinstall the forend. We can open the action and try it. And immediately we notice it's a lot easier to open.
It looked quite a bit easier.
And you don't want to go too far with that. You don't want the forend to be loose. But some adjustment is there for the shooter if they desire.
Perfect. Yeah, nice little tip, simple enough. Can really change, customize it to how you like.
It's very easy to do.
Awesome. All right, Ethan, we've got an 828U here. One of my favorite things about this shotgun is that we're able to customize it to fit my needs as a shooter.
Jake, that's right, and it's easy to do. And for most over-under shotguns, this would involve a trip to a stock fitter or a gunsmith to do this. But with the 828, it is user adjustable. There's 40 different settings, so that's going to cover a wide range of shooters, everybody for that matter. And so we'll go ahead and adjust it now.
Okay.
Before working on it, always break open the action.
Of course.
Inspect the chambers. Make sure it's unloaded. Make sure it's safe to work on. I'm going to go ahead and remove the forend and the barrels.
Okay.
Just so they're out of the way. So to change the drop and cast shims, we'll first need to remove the recoil pad and the progressive comfort assembly.
Okay.
There's 2 Phillips head screws in the recoil pad. And then 2 more Phillips head screws holding on the progressive comfort assembly.
Okay.
Then that will slide out. To remove the stock, there's a 13 millimeter nut down inside here.
Okay.
So with a T-handle or socket wrench, we'll unscrew that nut. Once the nut is loose, we can pull the stock off of the stock bolt, and the stock hardware will come out of the back. So we'll notice we have a locking plate, lock washer, and stock nut.
Okay.
And here we have the drop and the cast shim. And we'll notice we have a B and a DX6 installed from the factory.
So on this drop and cast shim, what we're really going to try to adjust is where my eye is going to be seeing down the vent rib.
That's right. So with instinctual shooting with a shotgun, your eye is basically the rear sight.
Okay.
And we
Makes
want to
sense.
correctly position that.
Okay.
And everybody's built a little differently, and that's why we have this option available.
Right. Okay. Great.
So for this example, let's go ahead and drop the stock. I'm going to go, we had a B, I'm going to go with a D, drop shim.
Okay.
There's a 6mm cast shim, so that's casting the stock away, cast off.
Okay.
Let's bring that a little closer. We'll go with the 3mm DX6.
Okay. And once again, for all these adjustments, you can refer to your owner's manual, correct?
There's a very good table in there for all 40 adjustments that are
Okay.
available. So once the drop and the cast shim have been installed, we can reinstall our stock. Now we've gone from a B to a D drop shim. So the locking plate we use will be set aside because this needs to correspond.
Okay.
So we will go with the D locking plate.
Okay.
Now this is a right-handed gun, so DX is for right hand or cast off. That will correspond with our cast shim. That was a
Okay.
DX cast shim as well. So we'll use the DX locking plate.
Okay. Great.
So to get our locking plate down inside the stock, we'll need some sort of rod to position it.
So that just kind of helps you guide it into place, right?
It does. I just have this pistol cleaning rod,
Okay.
but a long screwdriver, anything like that would work.
So you're seating that down in there before you put the stock back on.
Right.
Okay.
And you can do it whichever way is easier for you. Slide the stock back onto the gun. We'll then install the lock washer and the stock nut with the rod as well. Once the nut is in place, we can use our 13mm to tighten the stock. The progressive comfort system slides in the back and is held on by 2 Phillips head screws. And then the recoil pad, 2 more Phillips heads. And from there, we've adjusted our drop and our cast to fit.
Pretty simple. So simple adjustment there makes it more enjoyable for me to shoot. Hopefully makes me a little bit more accurate.
Yeah, exactly. That's right, Jake.
Right. Ethan, thanks for your time today. We pretty much covered everything on the 828U. The 828 is an innovative over-under shotgun that is lightweight and built to endure for decades of high-volume shooting. If you have any further questions about specs, details, or other info, refer to your owner's manual or visit BenelliUSA.com.